StoryTime.tv.
Number 92 is Olrox, a magic-wielding vampire that rules the upper part of the castle. Olrox is based on Count Orlok of the 1922 classic film Nosferatu, though Count Orlok never turns into a giant lizard man, and I believe the film suffers for that. Well, hello once again, and welcome back to Nathan Plays Castlevania Symphony of the Night. My name is Nathan, and this is Castlevania for the Sony PlayStation. In the previous episode, we finally made our way around to Olrox's quarters and began the quest to get some secret special rings and explore some even deeper and stranger areas of the castle than we have hitherto seen. All that is in service of a mysterious goal that I have been not really revealing to you yet, although all will become clear in due time. So this was the area that we noped out of last time. It was a little bit too scary, what with the giant dog head and everything to climb into. Today we've got more resolve, more courage. We're going to go for it. We're going to do it. Get some money, get some hearts. What's in here? Oops, the music stopped. It's Cerberus, everybody, the three-headed hound of Hades. Each head fires a different elemental attack, and I briefly forgot that I have a shield, and so I was quite stymied by them for the moment. And as you can see, they sometimes rotate in sort of a fun fashion while they're in there, like a Gatling gun, which is kind of neat. Turns out the shield isn't actually that effective, although ducking really is, and so you can just kind of stay down. And, you know, try not to get shot. It actually shouldn't be that difficult of a fight. And yet I found myself getting pretty torn up by it. There we go. I wanted to make it seem like a bigger deal than it is. You know, it's gotta look tricky, I guess. And so we come to new sort of downward passage. There was a button there in the corner that I think you should make a mental note of, because we'll be back here later. Not much we can do about it right now. We have some Salem witches, and some kind of cool collapsing sections of stairway there. Just a little environmental thing. And that only happens the once. After that, it stays broken, which is kind of cool. We have kind of a crossroads here, and these exceptionally annoying little gremlins are going around spreading flames, just sort of getting in your way. Looks like there's another card in the corner there, a new friend. And it's the demon card. Let's crack that open and see what it says. It summons the devil familiar. Well, why isn't it the devil card then? Games. Ridiculous. So yeah, that little fellow shows up. He will occasionally stab things, and he may have other attacks. I never usually keep him on for very long. But if we go back up to the top of the passage where the button is...
A switch. Why don't I press it and see?
Yes, that is his sole function in life. That's what he do. He press button. Then he can go back into the backpack. So we get to sort of a long bit of business here with a lot of thorn weeds. And even more thorn weeds. And I realized all of a sudden that this diamond is actually good for something. And then a very special plant shows up. Ooh. Venus weed. She does a little more damage. She takes a lot more hits. She throws roses, which hurt. And she needs to put a shirt on. She'll catch her death. Anyway, that all leads to another passage. as well as the Ring of Ares at the bottom. The Ring of Ares is not something I tend to use very often. Gives you the strength of 24 men, but unfortunately drops your defense. So your attack goes way up, but you will take a lot more damage if you get hit. And I do get hit, so not really a risk I can take. There's a bit of suspicious looking wall over there, so we're going to bust that open and get a turkey, and then go even further to get a whole bunch of peanuts, Power of Sire, and a tea set, I think, was in there as well. Power of Sire is, some barley tea. It damages all enemies on screen. It's actually quite powerful. Something that you have to equip. It's a one-time use, and the peanuts are difficult to eat. And there's some cool barley tea. Now, I'm not sure if that means that it's, like, chilled, or, you know, like, cool, as in neat. Anyway, we head back to that sort of mining shaft there. We're going to go down the right side this time instead of to the left where the devil card was. We're just gonna... There's a red door here. We're just gonna scoop up one quick thing once we get that fire out of the way. Stupid gremlins. Lousy. Yes, it's one more fast travel point. The last one, actually, to find, and it's way down below there. It's very convenient for later on. It saves us a lot of walking if we need to get into and out of here. Very nice. Time to deal with the gremlins one more time and go back to the center of this crossroads so that we can go further down. Apparently I found some axes along the way and was just stuck with that. Not my favorite thing ever. Up this way there's a karma coin and a combat knife. Not 100% sure what the karma coin does. Combat knife is a flat combat dagger that goes in place of your sword. It works much like the super stabby knife that I had much earlier in the game, although it also comes with a slash attack if you hammer on the button like I was doing. And if you continue down the other side, you get another red door, which leads to a brand new area. What? There's even more down here? Yes. This is the catacombs. Welcome to the very bottom of the castle. The observant among us will notice that there's a doorway on the other side of this save point. But it only leads to one extra room. Well, okay, 2 extra rooms. And it has a bloodstone. What does a bloodstone do? The bloodstone improves your blood healing ability. So when you cast Dark Metamorphosis, the spell that heals you when you get blood splashed on you, you will heal more. We also picked up a cat eye circlet, which gives a big HP restore by cat damage. So anytime we get attacked by a cat, not a ton of them in the game, but it could happen. Then we'll get big hit point restore. It's sort of an extremely specific thing to wear. We have these guys, some were skeletons. And I just sort of ripped through them before I realized, oh, maybe you'll want to see what these things actually do, as well as the bone arc here. Bone arcs are actually really cool, so let me go back and just demonstrate what they do. Were skeletons are dumb. You don't get to see those. Then I realized I was coming at this from the wrong side, and oh well, there's one up ahead. More gremlins to get in the way. And just generally cause problems and irritation. I don't think the fires fade out on their own. I'm pretty sure you have to just bat them all away. You can also use a soul steel to clear them out instantly. I got the gem back as a sub-weapon. We have some slimes that are not particularly intimidating. Although this big one is maybe a little scarier. It hops, you see. Ah, yes, another bone arc. Okay, so bone arcs, if you leave them long enough, will charge and fire sort of a magical depth charge at you, which is really cool. And if you kill 2/3 of the enemy there, the last skeleton carrier will run away. with his arms in the air, panicking. And now it's time for the Echo of Bat to happen. This room is completely dark. We can't see anything, but bats can. Oh, the echo is bouncing off an alarming amount of spikes. Yes, that's what it's for. This is the only room in the game where this is really useful, and you have to navigate through this maze as the bats and try not to die. Because if you take a hit, you will revert back to human, and then you're trapped in a dark maze full of spikes. But if you make it through, you land on this platform here, and turn the lights on. How convenient is that? Look at all those spikies. Oh, here, I'll show you what a were-skeleton does. It does that. That's dumb. I thought I was going to run into a cat enemy, and didn't. I mixed up about what part of the castle that I'm in. Grab some cross shurikens there. Is the plural of shurikens, or is it just shuriken? I have no idea. See a little panic there. Look at that. Yeah. Poor guy. Anyway, we're going to keep heading through. There's one thing that we need back here. We have to mow down a lot of were-skeletons to get there. And that thing is the Spike Breaker Armor. Spike Breaker Armor is exactly what it sounds like. It is spike breaking armor. Thank you, description. It is going to help us get back through that room. We're also just going to bust the wall open there and grab a library card. Somebody tried to stick it between the bricks there, I guess. So when we have Spike Breaker on, we head back here. Look, we can bust the spikes off. And again, what's kind of neat is those will stay broken. They don't refresh when you leave the room. And so if you're obsessive, you can go through and break them all to your heart's content. Clean the whole place up. It is actually kind of satisfying to do. See? Still broken. We're not going to do it this time. So, heading back across the catacombs. This was sort of the main area with all the flame gremlins that we had before. It's a bit of a trouble. I guess you could use the stopwatch power up there, just to prevent them from spawning flames everywhere. We got some monster vials and some blood skeletons are in these some of these caskets. And they're going to come back. There's no way that I know of to permanently kill them. There's a couple of max ups there, heart and life. Very nice. And then there's this fellow. He has a lightning attack much like the one we have tried out earlier on, so if you get hit by that line that he casts out, or if you stay in one place for too long, he sets him on fire, also annoying. Fortunately, just his physical attacks don't do a ton of damage, so I'm just going to chip away at him. And then he's done. Here we have Loss Off. I'm not 100% sure what that's in reference to, but I guess I'll probably research that for the next video. Maybe this is our next creature of Castlevania. Sort of a gravekeeper, I think, that chucks fire at you. Discus Lord is here. He's got kind of a sweet spiky blade frisbee deal going on there on a line. If you're lucky, he'll drop one, and it's actually kind of fun to use. I was not lucky, unfortunately. We get a ballroom mask there, it's kind of neat. As well as another heart max up. There's a kind of a giveaway there with that arrow pointing right to the section of wall you need to break. And we get an Ice Brand. Ice Brand functionally is exactly the same as the Holy Sword, only it's ice infused rather than holy infused. So we're going to stick with what we have for now. But it has like the same sort of graphical effect, the same, you can go down forward and get an extra ice attack rather than a holy attack. Not sure why I looked longingly back in that room for a second while I was recording. Sure, I had my reasons. Anyway, we can't be bothered to deal with that guy, so... I mean, we've seen it. It's done. A couple more Lotsoths here. Lothoth? Losthies? I don't know. Also, dig the kind of 3D effect on the back of the catacomb and the cavern walls there. That's thanks to the raw graphical power of the PlayStation 1. I mean, it is kind of a neat detail. I kid, but it's cool when they throw in stuff like that. So this room can be very annoying. It's vertical, there's those little thorn weeds everywhere. And there's a save point. Other side of the save point is some walk armor. This is actually a unique set of armor. Its defense increases with map coverage, so the more percentage of map that you have explored, the better the armor actually gets. Which is kind of cool, and a bit of an incentive to try and cover every last square of the map. Oh yes, this room. Well, the music fades, and we have one of the most disturbing bosses in the entire game, if not the most disturbing. First of all, there's a lot of skeletons in this room, and this is Grand Falloon, a floating ball of corpses that drops more corpses on you, and shrieks. Great. So first of all, you're trying to damage the outer shell of corpses, and when you do that, it reveals horrible tentacle things that will occasionally... wait just a minute here. Occasionally... Oh yeah, we're going to try, you know what, we're just going to take a quick second to use Power of Sire. Let's try it. Damages all enemies. Nice. So now the core of Grand Falloon is uncovered, and yes, the tentacles also fire lasers, in addition to being horrible. I'm going to eat some peanuts. Yep. Okay. Don't really know how that's meant to work, but I'm still getting blasted by lasers. Thanks a lot, Peanuts. Let's just, well, we wasted those. We'll switch back to the Holy Sword for now. So now your challenge is to try and get to that centerpiece of Grand Falloon. That's the bit that actually takes damage. Do a quick soul steal there to get some health back and also clear the way. And there we go. Good riddance. That's what I say. You weirdo. So Grand Falloon, I guess you could say, is actually optional. Because with the Spike Breaker armor, we've actually already gotten what we came down here for. But you can, yeah, I mean, you can go all the way through. You can grab Mormagil here. And Mormagil is, where is that thing? There we go. It's a black sword, which is strong versus holy. It's got a really good attack rating, actually. But there's not actually a lot of times where that strong versus holy is really going to be useful. So yeah, I think we did switch back to the Holy Sword, and I'm just kind of editing the walk back here. As we headed back to that save point that was just before the boss. Yeah, there we go. But before I put the Holy Sword back on, I'm going to grab a What am I doing? Where am I going? Missed it. Ah, it's right there. Library card. I'm just going to save myself a lot of walking and head straight back to the library. Library. Cool. Now we're going to put the Holy Sword back on. Oh no, we're going to stick with Mormagil, apparently. Alright, interesting strat. Way to change it up there past me. And sell off some gems that I've been sitting on for a while.
Thank you.
I'm interested in this.
And I think I'm going to get... The red cloak is cool, but we're going to get the... Where's that thing? Not sorting, Harper... Elven Cloak. Elven Cloak. It has Con and Luck +1, which is kind of cool. Same stats as what I'm wearing. And we'll grab the Ring of Pails while we're here, because we have a lot of money. There's some more magic scrolls, but we don't really need those. Okay. Blood Cloak, swap it out for Elven Cloak, which is a very cool shade of green. And Ring of Pails is a ring with holy powers that actually ups your stats like across the board. So we're going to swap out the Bloodstone for that. And just be really cool and strong. And look at this green cloak. Look at this. Stylish. Love it. Okay, so after leaving the library area, head back to the outer wall and grab the elevator. Just a short walk upstairs to a fast travel point. And from here we're going to fast travel back to the beginning of the game. Because there's one power-up I want to get that's going to make things just a little bit quicker and simpler for what we're about to do after this. So we're gonna do a quick victory lap here and scoop up some stuff. I hate this room and the zombies because you never know when they're going to come up and you have to stop to swing and ugh, everything's annoying. So I'm just gonna not do it. We're going to painstakingly vampire fog our way over top of everything. Forget you, zombies. Alright, so you might remember this room. We usually go around the bottom, but you can actually so bust open this section of rock here. No? Okay. Well, I did that side, but I didn't go through. There I was trying something that I thought worked with the bats, but I guess not. I wasn't thinking about it the right way. So yeah, there's actually a passage through there, and you don't have to go around the bottom at all and deal with the fish people and stuff. There is a locked door in the lower left corner of this room, and the only way to open it is, you don't even see it as a door, it's just a section of wall. And the only way to open it, see, blank section of wall there. No big deal. And I have to have read this on a guide. There's no way that I figured this out on my own. The only way to open it is to go through this passage as a dog and then switch to the bat and go back. I mean, as a wolf. I'm a wolf, not a dog. And you go back and suddenly, hey presto, there's a passageway there. Inside is a life apple and a jewel sword. What does a jewel sword do? It transforms enemies into jewels. Obviously, it does not do this very often. It is dependent on your luck stat. It also has a very pretty sparkly effect, and if you do down to forward and hit, it'll drop a coin every time. It's very slow to use, and so, not my favorite. We'll go back to Mormagil. Up here, this is an area we haven't been able to get to in the past. There's a Gurkha there with a cool curved sort of scimitar-looking thing there. As well as this fellow, another one of those, which we fought before and we don't have the time to deal with now. Sure, I'll take that. We'll switch it up. Holy water, why not? Save point up here. Not I mean, not for any good reason, really. Just here. May as well use it. Makes you think there's a boss nearby, but there's not. There's just this stuff. The Holy Mail. It is strong versus holy attacks, and it gives you slightly more intelligence than the walk armor. Again, not a ton of things do holy attacks, but it will be useful. Actually, well, you saw that fight with Richter. He uses holy attacks. He's one of the few places. So way back in the very, very entrance of the castle, we get a life max up, and we get this, the Power of Wolf. This is what we came all the way down here to get. We're also going to use our fire to... One of these is... Oh yeah, there it is. $400 is a good chunk of change, and this is a decent place to grind for money if you want to. Anyway, Power of Wolf allows you to pick up speed, and then hit super speed, and just plow through everything. It does take a significant chunk of your magic each time, but running into an enemy no longer stops you. It just does damage, and you keep going. This was the thing we wanted, and it's going to make things a little nicer. So back to the fast travel point that we came in on. We're going to go upstairs. Keep going. Not the snake. Not the scorpion. We want the lion. There we go. And so it's not super, super necessary. In the time it took us to get this power-up, we might have just walked down here anyway and do what we're about to do. But I wanted it. I wanted to show it to you, and I wanted to get it. Okay, these guys are going to be in our way. Now we can go. So we're working our way back through, back to the chapel. And we're going to drop down. Revisit some of these classic areas. Bust through some skeletons. And come back to this hallway. I think we stuck our heads in here when we came up through this area. And now that we have the spike breaker, we no longer fear all these spikes. You also need to be able to do vampiric mist. So there's a couple of gates here, sort of. And you need the... Well, of course you have the Jewel of Open if you're here. I mean, you probably do.
So, did you find Richter?
I don't know if he's the one you're looking for, but I found a Belmont.
Really? So he is here?
But the one I saw was the enemy. He was the lord of this castle.
That can't be true. You're wrong. I must go now.
Well, that was a bit of a loaded confrontation there, and we found a silver ring. Now, the silver ring matches up with our gold ring, and it says in tower. So when you wear the two of them together, it says wear clock in tower. Weird. Perhaps where in clock tower? Could be. It's actually a tiny little bit misleading, and we're going to see why in the next video. For now, I'm going to make my way back to a save point. Closest one I felt like was in Colosseum, and so that's where I headed. And we're going to call it a video. Now we have our gold and silver rings. We're ready to do one more thing and then re-attack the ending of the game. So stay tuned for that. Thank you ever so much for watching, of course. And as always, we'll see you next mission.